They called him foolish. They laughed when he said he would one day own an airplane company, yet he had never even seen a plane up close. But that's the thing about people who think small. They can't understand the mind of someone who thinks big. This is the story of Daniel, a young man from a small town who proved that the size of your dream determines the size of your life. Daniel grew up in a dusty town where most people worked at the same old factory. Every morning, the sound of machines filled the air, and every evening, people walked home tired and silent. To them, life was simple. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. But Daniel was different. He loved to stand by the hill outside town and watch the sky. When airplanes passed by, he'd whisper, "One day, I'll build one of those." His friends laughed. "Daniel, be serious. You don't even have money for shoes." But Daniel smiled and said, "I may be poor now, but my mind is rich." At 16, Daniel found an old book in the library about airplane design. He read it again and again until the pages began to tear. He didn't have a computer or access to engineers, only his imagination and a notebook full of sketches. Every night when others slept, he stayed awake drawing wings, engines, and flight paths. His mother would say, "Daniel, you need rest." And he'd reply, "Ma, one day people will rest inside planes I build." Years passed. He left his town and worked small jobs, sweeping hangars, carrying parts, cleaning tools, just to be close to airplanes. He failed many times. One night, his design caught fire during a test, almost destroying everything he had. People told him, "Give up, Daniel. It's too big for you." But he looked up at the sky again and said, "Then I'll grow big enough for it." He sold everything he owned, worked day and night, and studied the science of flight until he mastered it. At 29, Daniel finally built a small prototype, his own airplane from scrap parts. When it took off for the first time, the crowd gasped as it rose above the clouds. It wasn't just an airplane that flew that day. It was a dream. Investors started to notice. A few years later, Daniel opened his own aviation company, and one day he flew his first commercial jet back to the same town that once mocked him. Children ran to see him, pointing at the sky, shouting, "Look, Daniel's plane." And Daniel smiled, tears in his eyes, remembering the boy who used to dream on that hill. You see, the difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary is just one word: thinking. Most people think about surviving. Few dare to think about soaring. If you want to live a big life, you must first have a big mind, because your mind is the runway where every dream takes off. So when they tell you your dream is too big, smile and remember this: it's not your dream that's too big. It's their thinking that's too small.